Dreams now, and a film that Dan has seen, and I'll ask Dan to introduce it. This is on Netflix, and this is Lift.
Yes, this is Lift. Kevin Hart goes from funny man to action man in this very, very poor Mission Impossible knockoff. We'll talk about it after the clip.
Can I get you a drink, Gabby?
Agent Gladwell,
Am I in trouble?
you and your friends are looking at identity fraud, money laundering, and transportation of stolen property. But I'm here to offer you a deal. We need you to steal something.
So this is a new film by director F. Gary Gray, who's had some good hits in the past. He's known for the Fast and Furious franchise. He's also known for directing Straight Outta Compton, the fantastic NWA biopic. This stars Kevin Hart as a prolific art thief who, with his team, is recruited by the FBI, led by Gugu Mbatha-Raw's agent Gladwell was her name? I think it was. To steal a bunch of gold from a murderous cyber terrorist played by Jean Reno. If you typed in the words, write me a really generic modern heist movie into ChatGPT, you'd get something very similar to this. It really is about as bargain basement as this type of film gets. There are some moderately entertaining action set pieces, although the editing did make me want to be sick at times. But Kevin Hart I don't find him particularly funny. So the idea of trying to cast him as an action star is just laughable to me. Gugu Mbatha-Raw, who I love, she's completely underused in this film. Vincent D'Onofrio, I've no idea what he's doing in this film. You've got a beginning which is about the theft of an NFT, and I thought, okay, well, this isn't going to age at all very, very quickly. And it's just another example of Netflix pumping a huge amount of money into a star-studded film, which is literally just going to sit there for a few days on the front cover of Netflix as a piece of content before it's just scrolled past and just forgotten about, like The Grey Man or all of those other bargain basement action films that Netflix are pumping out. It's just content. It's a really depressing state of affairs where they're not doing it for any kind of artistic gain or because someone has a vision that they want to bring to the screen. As I say, F. Gary Gray is a good director. Just watch Straight Outta Compton, if you want proof of that. But this is really just bargain basement. We just need to trot something out to get going. Let's just make a film. Let's get a bunch of stars in there: Kevin Hart, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Vincent D'Onofrio, Jean Reno, and we'll just put it on Netflix. People watch it for a week. We'll get a couple of hits, and then we'll just pump out the next one as soon as people get bored of it, which was very quick for me, to be honest. This was nothing special whatsoever. This was every Mission Impossible film crammed into 1 hour and 40 minutes with really bad CGI, really annoying characters, a script which I must have taken a weekend to write, I swear. Not good. Not good whatsoever. And it makes me really worried for the future of Netflix produced content, because it's no longer films, that they're making. It is just purely content. And it's a shame. It's a real shame that kind of money is being pumped into something so disposable.
Yeah. I'll say what I feel about it after you've had a say. But, some of the Netflix stuff has been glossy and lightweight, but better than this. So the likes of Red Notice and so on was kind of glossy and disposable. But it struck me as a better proposition than this one. Scott, you've seen this one as well.
I have, and I think Dan summed it up pretty perfectly, to be honest. This is one where I didn't have high expectations, but I thought there might be some silly fun. And I thought the start of it was okay. I was like, okay, this might be fine. But yeah, it very quickly became dull and forgettable. Once you knew that it was going to hit all the generic beats of these other action films, I didn't really care. Pretty much as soon as the film finished, I was thinking about it and I was like, oh wait, did I fall asleep or did I miss something? Because I just couldn't remember what actually happened. Literally, when the credits were rolling, I was like, oh no. but I don't care. Like, there's some decent action scenes-ish, but it's a stretch to really say that it's even mediocre. This was a very disappointing film.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Emma, anything to add?
I think I dislike it a little less than everyone else. When I was watching it, I had to say, I didn't at a single point think Mission Impossible. I thought Hustle. I thought Leverage, and one particular bit I thought Fast Five. But it was like I didn't have to use my brain. It is not fantastic, and yes, there are much better things to watch, but it passed the time for me. I like so many people popping up, and like you say, you know, all these people you recognise. Everyone was underused. Some of them just had downright terrible characters to play.
The words they put in their mouths, though, man.
But it's one of those things where like you can see what they wanted to do, but they just weren't as good as anyone else who has ever done it before. So yeah, it all came together a bit awful.
Yeah. Okay. Andy?
Yeah, everything Dan said for me. Everything Dan said. I watched it this morning. I've forgotten most of it already. I've even forgotten we might have been reviewing it tonight, and that's how far it went out of my mind. For me, it was a 5 out of 10, and nothing new, nothing special. Just Dan said it all for me. That's what I said.
Yeah. I must admit, I've only seen half of this film because I was watching it, not particularly enjoying it or paying much attention to what was going on. And then the BAFTA nominations came out, and that distracted me enough that I never got back to it. I might be bothered to watch the other half because I don't quit on a film, however bad it is. But yeah, I agree with everything you said. That the script, some of the dialogue in here was really head in your hands awful, I thought.
Can I also make one more point?
Yeah.
Sorry. Something that it was really bothering me at the beginning of the film. So it's insinuated that this NFT theft is a ruse, so they can actually steal another painting in London by Van Gogh. And they kept pronouncing, I just said it wrong.
Van
They
Gogh.
kept pronouncing the name wrong. They kept saying going Van Gogh, Van Gogh. They didn't say Van Hoof like it really should be. And if they were proper art, they were into their art, they would know how to pronounce the names of one of the most popular artists of all time.
Yeah.
That's a real nitpick. But it was just really bothering me. Just choose a pronunciation and stick to it.
Yeah. That's almost as bad. That's almost as bad as English actors saying math when they're in an English setting, isn't it? Instead of maths. Yeah. God, it drives you crazy. I'm not. I mean, the whole setup for that was completely bonkers, wasn't it? That they were stealing the sunflowers, which is a big enough heist in itself, you would have thought. And I didn't really see how that fitted into anything. It wasn't really a distraction, was it? Because it didn't come into the plot. And all it was effectively was a kidnapping to increase the value of the NFT. So yeah, it was a very strange plot, I thought, in general. Yeah. I thought it smelled of desperation. It was as desperate as Mean Girls. Yeah. Let's do scores on the doors. I won't score this because I haven't seen the whole film. I mean, the second half might be a masterpiece, right?
It's not.
Emma, what will you give it?
6.
6. I think I had a 5 from you, Andy.
Yeah, 5 from me.
Scott?
I'm going to go 4.
Dan?
Yeah, for raising the ghost of Mordecai in my head for a few split seconds, which is unforgivable. It's got to be a 4.
15. So that's 19 divided by 4 is 4.75, I think, for the Flickering Dreams score. Not our lowest score of the year so far, but getting down there. That makes Lift with Kevin Hart a miss. He should return to Jumanji.